Hello everyone. In this particular video, what I'll be talking about with you all today is the CSS Designer. Now, what the CSS Designer will do, or what it does, it actually allows us to actually apply CSS styles or rules to our CSS document without having us type in anything onto our style CSS, which I actually have applied right here. So clicking on that, you can see here that my CSS file is in fact empty. There is no form of rule or anything that I got manually typed in as of yet. So with that being said, let us get started as far as adding in some CSS or some default CSS to get you all started with using the CSS Designer. Now, as you can tell here, going over in my panels on my right side of my screen, we actually have our tab known as the CSS Designer. So if you click on that tab, we actually have like 4 categories that we could choose from within our CSS Designer. Because for one, we have our source, which pretty much tells us which source are we going to be using it from. Is it going to be an internal style sheet which we apply to our HTML document, or be an internal style sheet which we will be applying it to currently in our style CSS. So going down, we actually have our at media, which is for all of our responsive websites. So pretty much if we want to make it our website at a certain width, it's supposed to be responding towards that. Going down the list, we have our selectors, which pertains to our HTML tags, our IDs, and our classes. And then last but not least are our properties. So what our properties will do, if we have a certain tag or ID or class selected, we can actually apply settings for that particular tag or ID or class to that naming convention or that particular name. Okay, so let's get started. So with that, I'm going to start off by selecting my my style CSS. So just in case, if people or if you all do not actually have a style sheet available, you can always click on that plus sign right here, which allows you to actually create a CSS or attach an existing CSS that you created to your HTML document, or you could actually define a page which will be onto the HTML document. So if I actually click over here on my source code, now if I click my plus sign, you can see that define in page is pretty much ready to go if I click on this option. But since I'm applying it to my CSS, I'm going to stick to that one so that way we get started with that. Alright, so right down here I actually have my selector. So making sure for one, I'm going to click on my style CSS. I'm going to go ahead and click on the plus sign for my selector, which I'm going to add in or look for a particular tag or ID or class to my current style CSS. So I'm going to click on that plus sign, and then I'm going to type in main, because that is one of the tags or HTML tags that I actually have on my HTML document. So I'm going to hit enter. Now, as you can see here, once I've hit enter, my properties panel pretty much just showed up with everything. So by default, you should see like the show set is checked. So which allows you to actually click inside this properties box and actually type in or search for a particular tag that you want to put in. So like for this case, I want to go ahead and set a width. So, and there it is, we actually have right here our width, and I want to put this in as a 1200 pixel width ratio. And as I hit enter, you can see here in our style CSS, it already populated that information within our CSS document. So just to give you all a hint on what the CSS Designer can do. Now, going forward with this, if you happen to uncheck the show set like an option box in here, what it will do is it will display the most popular CSS options available to you. So as far as the most widely well-known properties within CSS. So going down this line, I'm gonna go ahead and fill out the rest of this. I'm gonna set my pixels for my height. I'm gonna put this at 900. I'm gonna hit enter, and then I'm gonna scroll down. Well, before I even scroll down any further, let me go ahead and explain to you the main options up in here. So for one, we're currently in our layout dialog. So pretty much determines our size of our tag. And then next to that, we actually have our text, which pretty much defines how we want our text to look overall within our HTML document. And then we have our border, which pretty much determines how our particular tag is going to look, how we want to round off certain edges and have it display real nicely. And then go to our background. In our background, we actually will be displaying how our background want to look, like the color, what we want to apply an image, and how we want to position that onto our document. So this is where I want to actually be at for this particular instance, because I want to see my my main HTML tag display in here. So all I'm gonna do to start off, I'm gonna go ahead and click on my background color. As you can see here, I got my dialog box for my color for my background, and I'm gonna set this up to set it to a bluish color. So, and as you can see here, I went ahead and set my color for my hue, and then I'll pretty much set how dark do I want that color, if it's going to be white, gray, black, or pretty much one of the many shades and tints of blue that I actually have available to me. Now, as you can see here, there is a alpha channel right here, which pretty much determines how transparent our color is going to be. And for this case, I don't need to actually have transparent, but in case you want to play around with that option, you can. So I'm going to leave that to be alone for now. As you can see here, I actually have my blue already set in display. Now, the main thing we want to do in this case, we want to center this. So all I'm going to do here is go right back to my layout, and then right here it says the margin. I'm going to actually set a margin that will apply to all 4 regions, which is up my top, my left, my bottom, and my right. So I'm going to set this to auto. Okay, I'm going to hit enter. So as you can see here, not only that it organizes my CSS for my main, but it also placed it in there without me having to type much of anything in there as well. So, but that's pretty much about it, about how the CSS designer works. So when you get the chance, apply your tags, and please make sure to let me know what you think, and I'll see you in a little bit.